In this movie, I'm going to walk through the finance project just so you understand what's expected on each step. So this is page 1 of the project, and you'll be looking up a house that you might want to purchase. And I'm going to tell you that I found one. I won't put the address in, but that the list price is $500,000. So that would go here. And you're going to put 20% down. So you're going to do 20% of $500,000. And that would be $100,000, which leaves us with a loan amount of $400,000. And you can look up in the annual taxes. You can find that on the website I provided. Now the next thing you need to do is you need to go and find a couple of banks that have published their mortgage rates. And so I'm going to tell you that I looked up Citizens. I'll show you the screen in a second. And I found that it's a 4% for a 30-year. And it's 3.75% for a 20-year, and it's 3.25% for a 15-year. So the first page of this is really getting data. And this is the screen that shows you the rates that I looked up. So all you're going to do is go to the different bank websites and go under their mortgage rates, look up their mortgage rates, and you'll find for each of the terms that I recommended that you look up mortgage rates, and you just fill in that table. Now on this page, you're actually going to calculate how much is your loan payment going to be if you do a 15-year mortgage, if you do a 20-year mortgage, or if you do a 30-year mortgage. And I'm just going to show you an example using my information for a 20-year. So for the 20-year loan, we said that it was a $400,000 loan. We're not going to include the down payment. And the rate that we just looked up was 3.75%. And what we learned in class was that the present value is equal to the rate times 1 minus 1 plus the interest raised to the negative n over the interest. And when we rearranged that, we got that the actual mortgage payment was going to equal the present value times the interest, and then you're going to divide that by 1 minus 1 plus the interest raised to the negative n. So what I do want to see you plug all these numbers in. And if you do it, on my numbers, I had $400,000 was my present value. My interest rate was 3.75%. So I'll just plug those in, and you can see those in a sec here. So we've plugged in the numbers, 400,000 times 0.0375 over 12, and then 1 minus 1 plus that interest rate raised to the negative 240. Now see, it's negative 240 because it's a 20-year loan, and it's monthly payments. That's why we have the 12 here. And when you plug that into your calculator, you would find that the loan payment would be $2,371.55. And that's how you're going to get that. Now the monthly taxes, you're going to take your annual taxes that you have on your front page, and you're just going to divide them by 12. That's how much you pay monthly. And then on this line, you'll add the 2 lines above. So you're going to do that each for the 15-year, the 30-year, and the 20-year. So I just showed you an example of the 20-year. I think this slide is pretty self-explanatory. You're going to find the car and the price, and then you're going to, again, look up the bank, choose a bank, and find out how much their auto loans are, how many months it's going to be. Is it a 5-year loan, so that's 60 months? Or is it a 6-year loan, so that's 72 months? And that bank should show you a rate, an auto loan rate. This is a little harder to find than the bank loan rates. And then you're going to use the same formula that we just did to find the loan payment. So you're going to use the present value of the car times the interest rate over 1 minus 1 plus the interest rate raised to the negative n, where a negative n, the n is how many months. That's what goes in for your n value, remember. So I think you can do that one. And now we get to the student loan section. So if you go to the link that I provided, you'll see this is the column that you want to be looking at. These are the guaranteed federal loans, and so you can see that in your first year you can get $5,500, but no more than $3,500 would be subsidized. So we're going to assume that we can get the full amount subsidized. It all depends on your family's financial information, whether or not that's true, but we'll assume that we'll get all of the subsidized as subsidized. What that means is that you're not going to pay interest on this loan, this $3,500, until you graduate. But the other $2,000, you do have to pay interest while you're in school, and I'll explain that in a sec. So on this page, you're going to take the information from the previous slide, like I just circled, and you're going to fill in the table. So you see I already put in the freshman year, the total guaranteed, the subsidized, and the unsubsidized. So I'm going to take this 2,000 unsubsidized, and we're going to work with that. So freshman year, the initial unsubsidized loan, we have $2,000 from above. Now we're going to calculate the months from the start of your freshman year until the graduation in your senior year. So you figure we're going to start in September and we're going to end in June of your senior year. So how many months is that? So that should be 46 months because it's too shy of 4 years. And this column here is where we'll calculate how much interest has accrued on that 2,000 because you're going to owe interest on that unsubsidized portion. And we're going to assume that it's compounded monthly since we know the number of months, even though technically it's compounded daily. It should be very similar as an end result. So we're going to say that the amount that you're going to owe is equal to the initial amount times 1 plus r over 12 raised to the 12 T, or this is actually the number of months. So we can just put our 46, and each time we have to increase it for each year. It's more months until you graduate, or it's less months until you graduate. So we're going to put in 2,000 times 1 plus, and the interest rate right now that the government's charging is 0.0376 over 12, and you're going to raise that to the 46. So let me write that a little bit clearer down here. So it's 2,000 times 1 plus 0.0376 is the interest rate on the unsubsidized loans over 12 raised to the 46, because we're going to have to accumulate interest on this loan here for 46 months. And when you do that, it turns out that that $2,000 when you graduate will be actually a loan of $2,295.48. So when you graduate, you'll owe $295.48 above the $2,000 that you borrowed on that loan. So now you have to do a similar calculation for your sophomore year, your junior year, and your senior year using the subsidized and unsubsidized information from the website I gave you. And remember that the months till graduation changes for each of those years. Now on this last page of the project, you're going to take the subsidized loan that we knew for that first year was $3,500, and the unsubsidized loan, and that was after the interest has accrued for those years. So this is from the last thing that we did, $2,295.48. And so rather than being $5,500, this ends up being $5,700, or $5,795.48. So that's the loans, the guaranteed federal loan, what you would owe at the end when you graduate. And you can do that for each year, and then you can sum it up, and that's going to be the total if you just took, or if you elected to take, either way you want to think about it, the guaranteed federal loans for the 4 years that you're in college. Now on the step below here, we're going to recalculate how much it's going to cost. So you're going to take that amount, and that becomes the present value for your loan repayment, and we're going to assume that you're going to pay it off in 10 years, and we'll assume it's compounded monthly, and we'll take the rate for last year, which was 4.45%. I think it has dropped down to the 3.76, but it will be close enough to give you an idea. So we'll put into the PV, we'll put into the PV times I over 1 minus 1 plus I raised to the negative n. And so the present value, that's going to be the total loan that you have. The 4.45% is going in for I, but we have to remember to divide it by 12. And the n, we're going to take this total amount that we owe at graduation, and we're going to pay it off over 10 years. So the n is going to be 120 months. And that will give you the monthly payment on your student loan debt from the federal guaranteed subsidized and unsubsidized loans. And that's how you finish the packet.